Good day guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the mixing tutorial I've been meaning to do for a while. Everything I used, all the drums I used are available in my Reverb Afrofusion starter pack. I'll put that link in the description. And in addition to teaching mixing today, I'm going to be giving away this free preset pack, bundle by bundle, made by me, and it's going to help your whole mixing process be much easier. So I have this beat I'm going to let you guys hear, and then I'm going to just show the mixing I did and show you some presets inside this kit. So let's take a listen. Right, so this is how it sounds with the effects on. So I'm just going to show what I did to each stuff, starting from the top. Okay, the top, I didn't really do anything in shakers, it already comes made. You get in my starter pack. Once again, go and get in the link in the description. So then we have this one. This one is not from mine, but it's just a random Perc. Let me play it. Let me remove all effects, then play it. This is how it sounds. I pitched it down a bit, and it's sort of in the background just to add to the groove. So here's what I did starting from the top. I used gross beats, so it gives that a sort of, it distorts the sound, it changes the sound a little bit towards the end. Hold this knob down. Sorry. Everything else. Yeah, so this is how it sounds like. And then I EQ'd it, so the low end isn't really coming up. And then I added a little bit of reverb and brought down the wetness. So this is just a bit. But what I also did, I added this stereo shaper, and I used the, you just need to look towards the left of this place, you'll see it properly. I used the preset side residual splitter. So what is here currently was at this insert 18 right now is the side, what's coming in from the side of the stereo, and then this is the middle. So if I turn this down, you can just hear it a little bit at the middle. But if I turn this up and turn this down, what you're hearing is side, is what bleeds into the side that you're hearing. So what I did, I sort of brought this up a little bit, and then I added this pancake. You can easily do this with fruity panometer too, but this is just a random stuff. So this is what I did to give this its groove. Then with everything, this is how it sounds like. Yeah. So then I'm going to get back to this automation later. Automations are very important. So here then I used good sound, so I didn't really have to even do anything on all the sounds, because you know, you don't have to EQ every sound and all that. Like this one's already came, they sound really nice, so I didn't really do anything. But as you can see, what I did is I panned some of them, because you don't want everything playing at the middle. If you have all the nice sounds and everything is playing at the middle, I can barely hear them, then there's no point. So some of these Percs, the conga, I tweaked it right a little bit, I took this left a little bit. This is the main snare, so I left it in the middle. So let me play them together. Yeah, so even when they play over each other, you can still hear them properly. Like here, you still hear the open arts. So That's why you have to pan, so everything is not just jumbled together. So that's all I did for that. That's all the mixing I did for these stuffs. Then you come here, the melody. This is where it starts to get somewhat technical. So inside 13, all I did was I EQ'd it somehow because the lows were really strong. My bad. So yeah, that's the main melody. Then this was what I did for this was I mean, this is a mixing video, not that this matters, but I rendered this out. And then I reversed it. So when I reversed it, I then chopped some specific parts I wanted. So if you listen, exactly. So that's all I did there. And then they are both routed into this 13. So this 13 is then routed into these two. The melody, I used the melody reverb bus and the perfect melody. Although you don't really need to do this. If you use the perfect melody, you don't really need the reverb bus. But I just felt like the extra reverb would be nice for this particular track. Mind this name, it's not premaster. So this premaster, you can use it on your master. I just use premaster sometimes because I feel like there's some effect I want to put after, like this delay I put here to automate. I just automated that at the end. So it has a sort of dreamy feel. So that's what that delay is for. So sometimes when I want to do stuff like that, because of I don't want to, I usually automate this and this comes first. So I don't want to like fuck it up. That's why I use premaster sometimes. So inside the premaster, this is what you get. The only difference is, you are going to get this plugin too, Ozone 11 Imager. And this is not a promo or anything, but this is a very good preset for your stereo field. The stereo field you understand if you watch other videos, but I'm going to explain a little bit inside this. So with this, you can just pick different parts. So I've split this into 4. So what this does is, you have to think about your mix like a you have to think about your mix like a tree. The ones towards the lower end, I'm going to press learn. The ones towards the lower end, like the kick, the bass, they act like roots, the roots to a tree. And then the higher it goes, the more it branches out, the branches, the leaves, stems, whatever. So the higher you want it to be, the more you want it to be around the whole stereo. The lower, the more you want it to be mono. Mono being, I've explained in other videos. Okay, so let me just show what it is. I'm going to come to somewhere random and play. You can detect it automatically. That's such a cool effect. So like that, it has already sort of picked, you can tweak it a little bit, but now I can just mono this, take this up a bit, although I always want this to be at least 100. I want to leave that there. You can take this up a bit, take this one a bit higher, take this one a bit higher, and watch what it does. Compare that to this. Yeah, so one just sounds more polished, so that's what it is. Anyway, it comes muted, so if you can just drag this preset in, doesn't matter. If you don't have the plugin, then just leave it off. If you don't, well, you can go and get it from their website if you like, but it's not that necessary. Anyway, so the next thing I did, I came, this one. Let me mute everything. I don't think I did anything much here, 14. So some EQ, because this is quite harsh. So yeah, just really brought out here. And then I added this vintage verb, but you can really just use reverb. So yeah, one thing you have to do to get like neat reverbs, because we use reverbs and I use reverbs and delay are very essential to have a really good mix. So you always want to use a formula so your reverb is always on point, it's nice, it's not bleeding more than it's supposed to, because that will module up the mix, especially if you do it on different instruments. You use reverb and all of them are out of sync. So what you want to do to get a good, I don't even know if this is, I haven't calculated it yet, I just hopped on this video. So what you want to do is 60,000. That is the frequency range. 60,000 divided by the BPM. The BPM of this is 210 times 4. So that's 71.4. Then you divide that by 60 and you get 1.19. So that's basically 1.2. So can I get 19? Oh yeah, 1.19. So that's the decay. So in a case where you're using some form of something that has release or something in milliseconds, that's where you use that 71. So if you come to this place now, you should use the same thing, 1.19, and then you come here, 1. Whoa, that's way over 1.19. Just say 2. So yeah. So that's how you get them clean reverb, clean delays, all this. Yeah, I didn't really need to do anything, right? It sounds nice on its own. So then we have the specs. I don't think I did anything here either. Yeah, I didn't do anything. It sounds nice, so it does not really need any EQ or any mix. Again, you will get this inside my River Starter Fusion kit. So yeah, aside all of that, you're going to be needing the first thing you want to even do in most cases is to adjust the volume. With these mixes, you need to know that the human ear, you need to understand. Let me just open an EQ real quick. The human ear is like mostly attuned to hearing stuff from this low to high mid frequency range. This is where it hears properly. That's why if you come to this reverb bus, the preset I used, I sort of picked around there. You know, that's where I picked, because that's where you want the reverb to be. You don't really need it at the low and you don't really need it at the high. This is where humans really hear, so that's like the sweet spot you want to always tap into. So what you need to know is in this whole thing here, since the human ear is most reactive to this range, and that's why most of us, our voices fall within this range, you know. I mean, obviously it's frequencies, so it takes up other parts, but mostly the major parts, the strong parts, this is around the area. You want the low end to be loud because we're not really that reactive. That's why you notice the kicks, the 808s, they're always loud, punchy. But at the same time, you want them to be in, you want everything to be, as I explained before, in the 3-way. So what you want to do is shit, I should have named all this. Sorry, my bad. This 808, well, I didn't route it because it sounds good. I just tweaked it a little bit. So I'm just going to route this to, let me just route everything so we can see properly. Right. So I'm just going to move to where most of everything is playing. That should be here. As you can see, the 808 is the loudest here. Had it been the 808 is in this song, I purposely separated it. But had it been the kick and the 808 are playing in the same place, the kick is going to be the loudest, followed by the 808. So here. So as you can see, the kick and the 808 are basically the loudest things. Then you want your snare to be the next loudest thing. Since your kick and snare, or 808 and snare, whatever, is really what defines the bounce. You want those to be the loudest. Then you want your melodies to always fall between, you want it to fall low. Like you want it to, let me show where every other one is playing. I have this 18. So usually that is going to fall between 12 to, you know, as low as it can really go as low as 30, to be honest. You know, it just depends on how defined the sound is and what it's doing in the mix. So there's that one. You know, as low as it is, it's still sounding properly in the mix. You can hear everything individually well. And move to this one. Yeah. So the bass, again, the bass heavy stuff, that's kicks, 808. If you actually use an actual bass, those usually be like the loudest, the kick being the loudest of them, and the rest is relative. Then the snare or rema or whatever you're using as the main thing driving the bounce will be the next biggest thing. And then you can just pitch everything else as you see fit. So yeah, that's the first thing. And then you then come to, as you can see, I panned some stuff. You know, I also panned some inside here I showed at the beginning. So that's just to so that everything is heard clearly. Yeah, that's really all it is about mixing. Mixing is just putting everything. Now you have all these nice sounds. You just want to make sure everything sounds well together. So this is what I do. This is what everybody should do. You know, first do the volume. When you do the volume, you know, the low end is highest, followed by the snare, like that, like that. You do the volume, then you do the panning to make sure everything is heard. And then once that's sounding nice, which this is, you can then move on to, and I always put this mask down. Some people always do it after, but for me, I just feel like personally, as a personal preference, I always do this first. Okay, so first of all, I said I was going to explain the this. So what this is, as you can see, I cut the low end. Now the bass, the only thing that could really be clashing with the bass frequencies of this melody is the 808. So I looked at where the 808, this is the 808. The places the 808 comes in, the 808 only comes in at the chorus. So I then automated it to, so that filter. So let me explain what that is. To create automation clip, you just come to where the melody is, right click, create automation clip, and it's going to create this. And then you can just tweak it as you want. So let me copy this. So if you move it all the way down, you are going to really hear the bass to disappear. But whatever, the higher you move this or the lower, the more that the more this is in effect. And because this, what you have told it is to cut out the lows, so that means the higher you take it, the less lows you are going to hear. So let me paste this back. So you can hear the bass. So let me take out the 808s. Let me take out everything, honestly. So as you heard there, the bass came down a little bit. So that's what it's about. So that's simply what automation is for. I mean, not that specifically, but for a lot of things. So, you know, you may want an effect that is going to sound nice, but it's not going to sound nice throughout the whole song. That's what you do, you automate so that it can change to what you want at certain times rather than, you know, copying, maybe making a copy, routing it to a new track, putting a new effect, something like that. So that's what automation is for. So yeah, then the last part of it, or at least the first part for me, is mastering. So mastering is like very simple, you know, if you've not mastered before, probably the way people say mastering, they make it seem like a whole complicated thing. I always tell it's a complicated thing. It's not hard at all. What mastering is just making it as loud as it can without. So okay, because it's going to be hard to tell how loud your stuff actually is if you're a beginner, because you won't understand. So what I always like to do, I go to my desktop and find a song that I know, yeah, it sounds nice, it's mastered well, I play it, and then I adjust my volume. I always put my volume, if you notice, I always put my volume on 100. So but my PC volume itself is on 30. So what I do is I play the song. I then move the volume till I feel like, yeah, this is nice. Like for me listening to the song, like this is nice. So what I got is 30. So that's why I always use 30. I don't know what comfortable would be for you. Maybe comfortable for you is 80. I mean, don't damage your ears, but you know, it's relative. So what you want to do is find a song you know is mastered well, play it, and then tweak the volume till it sounds nice. Like you can be listening to a bunch of music at this volume and you'll be fine. Your ears are not damaged. So that's the volume I pick. So for me it's 30. So you make sure your PC volume is on 30 and your DAW volume, your FL volume is just reset, is at 100. So what you want to do, you now want to play the song, check how loud it is, and then come to your own, check how loud it is. So if it's not loud enough, so once you drag this in, you know, these are the presets you're going to get. This one is just cutting out 25 hertz because you don't need it. Then you come to soft clipper and then you just use the default, you know, this is the default setting, as you can see. It just makes it very loud. So then you come here. Now what you want to do here is move to the loudest part of the song, which should be here, I think. Yes, here. So play it. So you would now want to push it so it sounds as loud as you want to move your ceiling to just cut above the loudest part. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear that popping, some sort of popping sound. So you want to move it until it's just above, not making that popping sound. So this ceiling is cutting off just the highs a little bit to like peak of the song, and then this acts as a saturator sort of. So yeah, so now this is finished. This sounds good. All it remains for me to do is to put effects. I'm going to put a link to the full song in the description, so if you want to check that out, you know, you can go and listen to the full thing. So yeah, now this sounds mixed and mastered properly. You can hear everything. It's loud enough. You know, you put it on YouTube. It's not going to be like people who have to increase their volume to the max to hear what you're playing. So yeah, that's it for this video. The bundle by bundle mixing kit is going to be in the description below. You should get it. You should also get my drum kit. I'm also going to put that in the description below. And yeah, make a beat today. Mix. Don't just watch. Some people just watch tutorials and watch and watch and watch. If you watch a tutorial, you learn. Actually put it into use. So wish you good luck in making beats. See you in the next video.